I have every intention of reviewing Hades 2 when it finally comes out, but find it odd to give my opinion of the sequel without mentioning the original. Or at least I find it odd that I can't help but anticipate an outcry of what are your thoughts on the first one, or more likely, who asked you? Part of that's because the roguelike crowd, like the Souls-like crowd, like the Metroidvania crowd, like Scientology, get aggressive when they perceive an insult coming from an outsider, and an insider, and an in-betweener. Tweeting out Hades is the vanilla pretty boy of roguelites, and sometimes you want someone with more demons than daddy issues didn't feel sufficient, so here we are. The thing about Hades is it's the roguelite you can bring home to mother, provided your mother isn't a die-hard Christian evangelical who finds the ideas of multiple gods and queers to be an affront to the Almighty. I don't think her poor heart could handle polyamorous polytheism, but I wouldn't have the Greek pantheon portrayed any other way than a no-holds-barred appreciation of beauty. Beauty in the arts, beauty in strength, beauty in music, beauty in camaraderie, and obviously beauty in the booty that makes you go, ooh-wee. There's something for everyone. Bears, twinks, milfs, gilfs, crazy Latinas, even something for those who prefer playing with a zipper on someone's heart instead of their jeans. That's all for you to keep locked away in the spank bank though, because your in-game character is Zagreus, the son of Hades, so most everyone is his aunt, uncle, or cousin. I know that didn't stop the gods in their myths, but some holds have to be barred to secure a T rating. Thirst respectfully. In staunch defiance of Hades' wishes, the god not the game, the family's helping Zagreus escape the underworld so he can find his mother Persephone, and I have to say Supergiant Games absolutely knocked the narrative system out of the park. It's an expertly balanced blend of serious but goofy antics from divine beings who know they're destined to do this forever. I'm more of a gameplay first kind of guy, so take note when I say the way the story pans out over multiple runs and incorporates your success and failure goes above and beyond industry standards even today. It feels alive, it feels dynamic, and it's not something you'll ever want to mash to get it over with. It helps that the dialogue is short, sweet, and sounds like it's being delivered by people who frequently sneak to the fridge at night to eat shredded ambrosia from the bag.
Stupid boy. I told you nobody gets out of here, whether alive or dead.
It's not so much the writing, the story is simple, it's the machination, the interlocking dialogue that impresses me. It's similar to how I appreciate Bob Ross's paintings, but I enjoy watching him paint even more. When he comes sulking back to your dad after a failed run, he always has a new and interesting way to mock you based on what killed you. If you win, he gaslights you. It feels organic the way the dialogue refers to the gameplay and the gameplay refers back to the dialogue to create conversation.
Hey, free money. Whoops. Sorry. Sure beats having to ferry souls about, right?
Shouldn't you be getting skewered by the dead?
Well then.
My favorite example is this chamber with two boons. You can only take one, but the other god will get jealous and try to kill you, so you have to think, is it worth taking a chance on Poseidon and making Zeus jealous? Or do you take Zeus's boon first because you feel more confident you can take Poseidon on in a land battle? After you clear out the room, the scorned relative immediately cools off and gives you their boon too as an apology. Or they apologize the next time you run into each other if they killed you while throwing a fit. It's petulant, it's tied into the gameplay, I adore it. If you're keeping track, I've said Hades is gay, Hades is glorious, but in a cruel twist of irony, the gameplay isn't godly. From the perspective of a gameplay-centric player, Supergiant Games fanboy, and enjoyer of roguelikes in general, Hades uses the same sturdy isometric hack-and-slash core that I love from Supergiant's first game, Bastion, but in this genre, I look for something with the potential to get wilder. Narratively, it makes sense to always struggle as a demigod fighting out of the hell your godly father created to contain the mightiest of heroes and monsters. If you're a stickler for narrative, then maybe Zagreus can take the Blade Runner more human than human approach and explore what it means to be more god than god. As it stands, you get 6 weapons and 10 gods giving blessings, so there's a semblance of variety as the story gets going, but the combat boils down to getting close and attack-cancel until the chamber stops spawning enemies. There's 4 main dungeons, Tartarus, Asphodel, Elysium, and the Temple of Styx, beautifully designed, but they don't impact the game much more than what you need to avoid stepping into: traps, lava, wall traps, and rat caca. The blessings, they're actually called boons, but I keep calling them blessings and can't stop, match the aesthetic of their respective gods. But only Athena's shield deflects, Hermes' superior mobility, and Zeus's chain lightning change up the gameplay in any meaningful way. The rest are pretty interchangeable. Like Dionysus and Ares boons inflict extra damage with status effects, but one's called Hangover and the other's called Doom. Same thing. The combat's not bad by any means, but it's what I'd refer to as an egg buffet. Scrambled eggs have a different texture than omelets, but after a bit of chewing, it all tastes like eggs. You need to toss something else in there before you get sick of eggs. And to its credit, it does have some diced Canadian bacon and green onions to liven things up. but you have to grind resources for the cool ones. Like gathering up Titan blood through multiple Titan blood drives and scavenging gifts to give to specific gods you only happen upon at random to get the mysterious weapon aspects from gods outside of the Greek pantheon like Guan Yu's spear, King Arthur's sword, and Lucifer's chicken mortar. The rest of the progress you see in the meantime are those incremental upgrades where you get 5% increased damage that doesn't feel substantial until you hit the cap at 50%. I enjoy a good grind, but a bad grind ruins knives, lap dances, and video games. This system's used in a lot of games nowadays, and I don't care for it. It's too frugal in that penny saved is a penny earned kind of way. Every now and then I'd like to feel like I finally scratched the winning lottery ticket or assembled the pieces to a frame rate destroying run. The wildest run I've ever gotten in Hades feels as exciting as saving 2 pennies. It waters down the replayability for roguelikes. Yeah, I know, replayability sounds like a strange thing to measure. Unless you're immediately arrested and thrown into a Russian gulag with no Wi-Fi connection after completing a game, there's nothing stopping you from replaying a game. What I imagine people are getting at when they ask for games, specifically roguelikes with high replayability, is how likely am I to want to play through this game again? In that sense, Hades is modest and solid. You'll get your money's worth and go your separate ways amicably. I have a tinfoil hat and tie theory that the recent popularity of the bullet heaven genre following the success of Vampire Survivors is in retaliation to the repressed roguelites that sprang up hot on the heels of Hades, mistakenly thinking the sterile roguelike experience was worth mimicry instead of the dense narrative system. I believe to balance a roguelike is to neuter it, and I have another theory that the early access period is when this game got the snip. Balancing for a wide range of feedback skews everything to average, and you can go back through the patch notes to see how the game was balanced towards sensible over time. Game balance is the literal job of game designers. You put yourself thousands of dollars in debt and took out a 4th mortgage on the house just to let a mouth breather like me balance the game? Grow a spine, stick to your guns, and don't let the rest of us tell you how to balance a game. You also put in an easy mode and a flaming hot Cheeto skull sliding scale feature to make the game spicier. What's the point of letting the public balance the game during development if they can do so after development as well? That's the thing about Supergiant Games. They're a dom when it comes to art direction, but a sub when it comes to gameplay. Too eager to please, or perhaps too afraid to disappoint. Not all of their games can get you off, but not a single one offends. Vanilla. That French vanilla though, with the dotted vanilla bean flakes to let you know it's superior to normal vanilla in every way. In short, Hades combs its hair, is nice to the dog, has a lovely singing voice, helps stray grannies out of the trees, you get it. He's a standout citizen you feel makes a more convincing argument for games as art than that Binding of Isaac fellow covered in his own tears and poo in the basement. Coincidentally, another game that would cause your Christian evangelical mother to disown you. Supergiant Games flexes their mastery of telling narratives through video games like no other and stays humble in the gameplay department. The start of the game remains unmatched, and I wish I could suffer just enough brain damage to experience it again for the first time. The grind is inoffensive but uninspiring, and I wish it could be finished by someone who isn't me so I can play around with the aspects and full builds. Glass half full opinion, Hades is one of the most beautiful isometric hack and slash RPGs with the best new game plus system on the market. Glass half empty opinion, Hades is a respectable enough roguelite with Game of the Year worthy art and story direction. I'd buy a car from them. And before I go, I'd like to address that you probably don't know me as a reviewer. I started off as a reviewer, but Cold Take got bigger. Part of me misses reviews, so we figured we'd give this a go. Reviews are certainly easier to write and give more time to flesh out my think pieces, but I'll let you all decide. Cold takes will not go away. If I review something, it doesn't mean you'll get one less fully ramblomatic out of Yahtzee. What would I review? It could be a new release. It could be something like this, in anticipation of a hot sequel. It could be the remaster for a game I never played originally. Phantom Liberty, I never played Cyberpunk when it sucked. Maybe people are wondering if it's okay now. Stuff like that. Thank you for supporting us here on the Patreon and the merch. Leave a comment if you want me to review anything specific, or if you think I should just shut my whore mouth and stick to Cold Take.
This video is sponsored by Sovereign Syndicate, a new Victorian steampunk CRPG from Crimson Herring Studio where your successes and failures are decided with tarot cards instead of dice. Fight, talk, and deduce your way through the dark underbelly of this fantastical take on Victorian London. Use your investigative skills to untangle the web of mysterious disappearances and nefarious cults across brothels, opium dens. I'm thinking we'll even find an abandoned Radio Shack. And instead of rolling a d20, the fortunes of your skill checks rely on the favor of the innovative tarot card chance system. What will the fates have in store for you? Sovereign Syndicate is available now to scratch that CRPG itch on PC via Steam and GOG.